What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Amalgam Show. I'm one of your hosts, Keena Johnson, alongside Nathaniel Red, and
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm okay. I'm a bit tired.
Speaking of tired, I'm sure the person on the other line is tired.
The other
Kyron,
line.
how are you doing today?
I'm actually alright. I just had an energy drink, but other than that, yeah, no, I'm good.
Fuck,
It feels like you're like high, but like also got energy drink power.
Oh yeah.
You're like, oh yeah, but I'm really good, eh?
No, but yeah, no, I'm good. It's good to be podcasting again.
It is. It's been fucking too long, and we apologise, audience.
Yeah,
Hope you
we-
enjoyed that pizza time filler.
Filler arc. Pizza time arc. We recorded ages ago and Nathaniel didn't edit.
Nope. Alrighty. Kyron, what's the Amalgam Show about?
The Amalgam Show was about nerdy stuff and things that we care about.
Yep.
Stuff.
This week's topic will be emulation and whether it's ethical or not, and all the ins and outs of emulation and ROMs and stuff.
Are we gonna do what we were into this week first, or are we gonna just do a topic?
We are going to do what we're into this week, but first,
Some housekeeping.
yes. I was writing in my notes in uni. We had to do some housekeeping for one of my things, and I just wrote housekeeping. So be sure to check out Amalgam's Games Lab. We do that each week, but this week Shannon is dead.
Yeah,
The
it
Eka
is
killed him.
Eka days, and he has not been to the Eka, but
Oh,
it's Brisbane, and as soon as the Eka's on, everybody gets sick.
everyone has the Eka. Yeah, be sure to support us on Patreon at patreon.com/Amalgam Show, where you can listen to Amalgam Archaeology and receive a bunch of other bonuses. If you have any questions for the show, please comment below, email us at amalgamshow@gmail.com, and leave a like and subscribe.
Yeah, do those things.
It was just like, Keena era.
Alrighty, guys, what have we been into? Shannon, how's Octopath Traveler? Oh, fuck, he's not here. I've been wanting to talk to him for fucking ages about that game, but
Yeah.
keeps snubbing us. Kyron, what have you been up to?
I have been watching the new Matt Groening show, Disenchantment.
Yeah, what do you think of it?
I think it's all right. It's a Matt Groening show. Like it's okay. It's like Futurama and it's like The Simpsons. It's definitely not a comedy revolution, but
Yeah,
it's not.
I've watched
It's
the
not
first
bad.
episode twice now because I saw it at Reese and Righty's house this morning at 3 o'clock.
First
we just
episode's
watched
not
it
that
again.
great.
And then
We literally
Nina
just
and
finished
Nathaniel
watching it.
just watched it. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah.
The-
I'm up to like episode 6 now.
Okay, does it get better? Because that first episode is super boring, and especially for a comedy, it is not very funny.
Well, first episodes of a comedy are rarely ever.
I don't know, the
Packed
first
full of
episode of
laughs.
Futurama had quite a few good jokes in it.
And like the first episode of Futurama, you can get into that. Like you
Yeah.
build the premise. This is like, oh,
Yeah, the first episode of this is... I don't know, I just couldn't...
I do
Get
agree.
into
It's
any
kind
of
of
the
like
characters?
vague.
Yeah.
I couldn't get into any of the characters, and I was like, this is definitely a Netflix show.
yeah.
Like, they're just money grabbing now.
Well,
Or
that's
hire
Oh,
anybody.
I disagree. If you watch past the first episode, the second one gets a little better. The third one is definitely better, and then it just starts to find its groove from there.
Okay. Because I think I was
Like,
I think I was expecting.
I played like 5 minutes of it when Annika got home, and she laughed like 4 times.
Okay.
So
I think I was expecting a sitcom like Simpsons and Futurama, but it's not. It seems like an adventure show.
yeah, it's very much it's the most character-driven show that I've ever seen of like a Matt Groening thing. Like, it's so much. It has a central character
Yeah.
instead of a cast of characters.
Yeah.
Where each episode could be about a different person, but no, this one is just solely focused on Bean.
Yeah.
and just her misadventures and stuff like that. It's an entertaining show. I'm bored. I'm going to keep watching.
Yeah, that's what it seems like, and I'm like, I don't have time for that kind of show. But to be fair, I am watching Luke Cage at the moment, and it is thoroughly uneventful.
What is?
Luke Cage season 2.
Yeah.
It's quite uneventful, but I actually really like season 2.
I'm not like against it. It's just like I'm watching it and I'm like, there is nothing happening. It's like season 1 of Iron Fist, a boardroom meeting. That's all that show was, but instead it's all just gangster meetings. I'm like, I don't really care about these villains. Like,
well, there's one villain.
No, the whole, like, you've got those different gangs. Like, you've got the Mariah gang and what she's doing. You've got what Shades is doing. You've got, what's his name? The other guy, the Jamaican, doing what he's doing. You've got the cops trying to, like, stop Misty from doing her job properly. It's just, it's a bunch of stuff not being great.
Well, I'll give you a light at the end of the tunnel. There is the
crossover
Iron Fist crossover, and I enjoyed it a lot. That was
the Iron Fist episode.
Like they finally got Danny's character right.
Which
he was like happy and doing weird monk shit, and everyone's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
But he just acting casual about it instead of the whole, him trying to fit in, which isn't Danny's character at all.
Yeah, that's what I'm
like in the comics or anything I've ever seen him in.
Yeah,
he's very much just, I am a monk.
Yeah,
this is normal. Yes,
I'm excited for the second season of Iron Fist because while I do not like the first season, the second season, completely new showrunner who's actually putting time into the action and going to be like exploring Kunlun. It's also only 10 episodes. The next season,
which is good because I think they're like 12 episodes or something like that. That they've usually been like.
Yeah,
it's either been 12 or 14. I can't remember.
13.
But
every season's been 13 except for Defenders. Yeah,
they seem to just drag out.
Yeah, the pacing hasn't been good in those shows since the start. Like even Daredevil, the couple of episodes, but these later seasons, it's been like half the season feels like filler.
Yeah.
What else have you been up to?
I have been playing We Happy Few.
How is that?
I'm very interested to know.
It's okay. So it's like if BioShock and I guess Dishonored had a love child.
Okay, that sounds great on paper because I love both of those games.
It has drawbacks.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think it lives up to either of those, considering the critical reception.
It's definite. Okay, so it's like it is like that, but it's also kind of Skyrim-y.
Okay.
Where, it's trying to be a lot of things while still being a good game in itself, but you can definitely see influences in there.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of Annika's been telling me because she read the book 1984.
By
if any of you guys know.
That's
George Orwell. You guys know that book?
Yeah.
So it takes some inspiration from that.
A lot of things these days take inspiration from that.
Yeah.
Like that is very much like it is a critical part of literature.
Yeah.
In the same way we sort of look at like The Godfather in films and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Blade Runner,
I mean,
example. Yeah.
It's a good game.
Yeah. Is it worth $100?
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
So it's definitely to me worth $100 because it's got apparently a different roster of characters. Like you start off playing as Arthur, and I only know that there's other characters because of the achievements. You know those things when you leave your Xbox for too long and it comes up with things.
Okay.
It's like get 30 kills as Oliver, and I was like, who the fuck is Oliver? So I'm guessing once you finish Arthur's story arc, there's a new story arc and stuff like that.
Okay.
But there's so much side quests. The world is very well thought out. So, and there's different looks to the world depending on what chemical state you're in.
Okay.
You take your joy, everything's bright, happy, and rainbows, but in an eerily creepy way. Like this is, and then when you come down off joy, there's this thing called withdrawals, and you just have to wait for that bar to go down. But everything's super dark and disturbing. Like you'll look up at the sky and you'll see like just heavy clouds and everything's dark and everything looks dirty, and then you level out to your normal state again. And then, you know, everything's still kind of dark and dirty, but it's still a little bit bright.
Okay.
And then you can take, I think this is a cool thing, you take hallucinogenic mushrooms.
Yeah.
And apparently there's a part where it helps you solve mysteries and stuff because it lifts the veil between the unseen or something like that.
Yeah.
But I was walking through a old military camp, and when I was like on the mushrooms, and they had signs up that are like, conserve ammo, only shoot when necessary, don't raise your gun unless you want to shoot, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But when you walk past, it underlines things when you're on mushrooms. And then because the soldiers just never shoot at you, they always try to bayonet you.
Okay.
And the thing on the signs, it like highlights, don't ever shoot.
Oh.
And stuff like that. It's
so did that become like
little
that's
attention
what
to
the real
detail
message
things
is,
like
or is
that.
that the like you can't shoot?
Okay, so
is it the real
you can't
message?
shoot anyway because you don't have any ammo.
Okay, no, fair enough.
But you loot them and you never find ammo on any of them.
Okay.
So, and there's this weird thing where like the Germans have taken all the children. Joy, like the more you take joy, the more you get memory loss. So pretty much everyone has just forgotten that children even exist.
Yeah.
It's a really cool, complex game. Like, it's pretty hard to explain.
Yeah.
But it's definitely fun.
Yeah.
The only real problem I have with it is you're not allowed out at night. There's a curfew. But they never tell you when the curfew starts.
Okay. So it just sort of just takes effect.
It's just kind of trial and error. Like, I was walking around and apparently it takes place at 9 p.m.
Okay.
And then you have to either run for your fucking life because all the cops are after you for being outside, and they're just screaming down, are trying to kill you.
Yeah.
And then you either have to, I didn't know this until like halfway through the game, there's shelters that you can go into.
Ah, yes.
Like little bomb shelters that are sprinkled throughout because they've made technological enhancements, but the society hasn't evolved past World War II.
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds like Dying Light, the night parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you do end up getting a perk that's like, you can walk around at night.
Okay.
And the cops won't bother you.
That's weird.
Yeah. It's a little counterintuitive. I don't like that, but like also, whatever.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can you like liberate certain parts? Is that what you're trying to do? Or are you just trying to save your own ass in the game? Are you a hero, or are you just trying to survive?
So you, at the start, you're just like, I don't want to take my joy anymore. Because it starts off, you are a newspaper censorship man.
Yeah.
So you're censoring parts and like books and stuff that either the public should know about or they shouldn't know about. Basically anything to do with history, you have to, like, it's just like a 5-minute part of the game that you have to get rid of. And he's like, oh, I think information should be free for everyone. And they're like, are you off your joy? It's the whole start of the game, the whole E3 trailer.
Oh, yeah.
And then progressively, as you stay off joy for a while, you remember that you had a younger brother who was taken by the Germans.
Oh, okay.
So your whole quest line is to try and get across the bridge. There's a lot of bridges. But you have to get from, like, basically this desolate section to this semi-desolate section to a town, to an even better town, and to, like, the place where you started.
Okay.
But each one is, like, they have their own societies, different rules. Like, you have to wear different clothes there, otherwise they'll try to kill you.
Oh, wow.
Like, if you're wearing a nice suit and you go into the dingy district, they're like, the whole thing is explained, like, you remind them of the people that drove them out of their town because they got a bad batch of joy, and every time they take joy, they see eyeballs everywhere, so they go insane. Jesus. So they're kind of just shuffled out of society into, like, this barren wasteland. So if you're wearing a full suit, they're like, you're one of the people that ruined my fucking life, and the whole town tries to kill you.
Jesus.
And then you have to go find rocks or something like that to tear up your suit, and then you can walk around normally. And there's, like, a lot of different situations like that. You walk into a sex club and you can only get in if you're covered in, like, full latex or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then you can only get into certain parts of town when you're wearing workers' clothes and stuff like that. So it's very...
That's like Hitman.
Like, blend in, be like other people, but don't let them know that you're off your joy.
Yeah.
Or if there are points where you need to take joy, like walking through, like, places where there are, like, people, like doctors. Doctors can apparently smell you if you're off your joy, and they're like, we know you. And they tell everyone, and they will try to kill you.
That's weird.
Or you walk through a detector, and it's like, you're off your joy, and it tries to shock you, and the cops just run at you with, like, batons and shit. It's really... It's fun. There's a lot to do, but it gets kind of shitty when you're in an area, and because basically the map is massive.
Yeah.
And there's only shelters sprinkled throughout each areas. And if you don't want to run back for like 5 minutes to find a shelter, you kind of have to wait out the whole night. And there's this annoying thing where you sit down on like just a bench and you read a newspaper. During the day, you can wait. And at night, you can't.
Okay.
So there's no way to wait out the night.
Yeah.
So you're kind of just cowering in a corner, afraid for your life because you've just taken your last fucking med kit or something like that. And you're like, oh, if I run out, I'm definitely going to be murdered.
Okay. What's your other question?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Okay.
So that's okay. I can't remember what my question was.
But overall, like, it's a fun game. I've only played like about...
How's the experience
5
playing
hours
on the
of it?
Xbox? Is it a good Xbox One game?
It's good, yeah, but I have, like, come into, like, certain, like, issues where it'll just freeze. Or it'll just go, like... The sound will just go, and like the picture just kind of vibrates, and then it crashes.
That's weird. I wonder if those things are happening on PS4.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But for original Xbox Ones, I'm not sure if it's just the game needs patching or something like that.
It is an indie game, and it just come out of early access, so maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt that it's not my Xbox that it's failing to run on. I'm guessing it's like development issues, and they just need to release a patch, and it'll be okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I've been looking for games to play my Xbox, and I haven't had much luck. It's really hard to find good games for the Xbox One.
It's hard because...
I mean, We Happy Few is definitely a fun game. It's interesting. It's creepy. The storyline is... kind of compelling, like, because as you go through, you like discover memories and you remember people from your past and things that happened. So getting backstory on the guy you're playing as is kind of cool. Like, some really fucked up stuff happens.
Yep.
And there's a part where it kind of alludes to you're not who you think you are. I'm not going to say anything more than that.
You are Zach Fair.
Yeah, like that kind of... Like, you run around going, my name's Arthur, my name's Arthur. And you talk to a cop from the past and he's like, hello, blank out name for spoilers reasons.
Interesting.
And you're like, no, that's not my name. I'm Arthur. Like, he protests too much.
Oh, okay.
Which I don't know if that's just the cop being fucked off his face in joy and just kind of remembering someone from his past, or you're not who you think you are.
Interesting.
I don't know. It's definitely got interesting parts to it. The end goal isn't that fun.
Like
but there are a lot of
brother thing.
Yeah, rescue your brother. Like, that's kind of just, I need to get from this place to this place. But like, the whole world is cool.
Okay.
Like,
cool.
the doctors are shady. They're putting up random quarantines for no reason. The cops are like, oh, the bridge to this area isn't working. Oh, sorry, you're not allowed through. So you have to go fucking somewhere and be like, oh, I gotta go do this other whole quest so I can get a fucking press pass so I can enter, or something like that. Because freedom of the press, they can go where they want.
Okay, cool.
So it's like that, and like cops can't really argue with that. They're just like, sorry, this place is like, everything's super British too.
Yeah.
They're like, sorry, mate, this is it's a quarantined area, or something like that.
It's a quarantine area, ain't it?
Yeah.
All right.
But I like the game. It's fun. I enjoy playing it, but it's the overarching story isn't that compelling. It's the things in the middle that are really interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But I think I've spoken enough about it at this point. If
Anything else you've been up to?
if you guys want to play it. Maybe wait for the price to go down a bit,
Yeah,
because
that's my thing. Is that like
$100, it's a bit fucking.
yeah.
I don't see it coming down on the
I-
Xbox One anytime soon. I can see it coming down on like Steam.
Oh, you probably already
Yeah.
down.
And I mean,
give it a minute. You might be able to
If
find it.
you've
at
got a
retail
good enough
cheaper as
computer,
well.
play it on that, because if you do, like, the crashes usually happen just as you finish a quest. Like, it's only ever crashed on me 3 times, and I just got some new perks and shit, and it crashed on me, and I'm like, for fuck's sake, now I have to redo the quest, fucking reapply my stuff. Like,
Yeah.
if you can avoid that, try to, but yeah. Or if you can get it cheap enough on something, do it.
What else you been up to?
Working, and that's about it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
What have you been up to, Nathaniel?
Not a whole.
I've written a list.
Oh, cool.
Oh wow.
So, well, I haven't been on for a few weeks, and I've been doing a lot of stuff actually. I've watched Final Space. Have any of you heard of Final Space?
No.
Have you heard of Final Space, Kyron?
Is it a Final Fantasy
No. No.
Star Trek fan parody movie?
No. It's
I don't want to watch it then.
It's
Okay.
it's what I wanted Futurama to be in terms of
Okay.
if Futurama had a story.
Like a overarching story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this show is all story. It's
Okay.
it's got a lot of comedy in it. It's fucking hilarious. It's actually because I finished it all in one night.
Yeah.
I just like sat down and I watched that fucker until like 1 a.m. on a work night, and I was like, this is so fucking good, I can't stop. David Tennant plays the bad guy.
Mm-hmm. Makes
And you
sense.
wouldn't think it would be David Tennant because it just doesn't sound like him. Doesn't look like someone who he would act as. It's crazy.
He's also Uncle Scrooge at the moment.
Oh really?
Yeah, on the new DuckTales show. So
Okay.
he's a good voice actor.
What else? Because he like as the Doctor, he acted American, and everyone thought he was American.
Well,
But
no, as a
actually-
doctor, he just had a normal British accent. He also had a different accent when he was in the Harry Potter movies.
That's true. Yeah, I
yeah.
don't even know what he sounds like because he changes his
Yeah.
voice so much.
He's like super Scottish.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So I've been watching Final Space. I watched all of it. It's so pretty much the premise is the main character, Gary, he's really bland, very boring.
yep.
He stole a uniform from a space fleet officer to try to impress a girl because she only dates people in the space military.
Yeah.
And she was like a commander herself. So he like stole someone's uniform and then tried to hit her up. And then something happened and they all had to get back to their ships, but he wasn't part of the military. So they all ran to their ships and she was in the ship with him and he was like, "Oh, okay, so now all I gotta do is fly this ship." And she's like, "Yep." And then he tries to fly it and then he blows up an entire fleet by accident.
Jesus Christ.
And a small Mexican restaurant. But basically his punishment for that was he had to be stranded out in space alone on a spaceship for 5 years.
Jesus Christ.
And he was doing that. And it's really... like, there are really heartwarming moments to it. There's a lot of fucking funny moments to it. Like... And a lot of the time it just seems like a really dumb show.
Yeah.
But then sometimes it'll just fucking hit you out of nowhere and you'll not stop laughing. Like, it's amazing.
Is it like Rick and Morty-esque?
It's almost like Rick and Morty and Futurama had a baby, but it has a storyline.
Okay.
Like a proper plot point.
Yeah, proper. 'Cause, like, Rick and Morty pretends
actually,
to have a storyline, but it doesn't.
Best way to explain it, it is the art style of Futurama with the comedy of Rick and Morty with the storyline of the final season of the regular show.
Okay. I thought you were going to say Avatar in there or
No.
something, because Avatar has
That's like the best way to explain it.
Okay.
But basically what Gary does is he befriends the ship's computer and he just ends up wanting to do good and help people. So
Oh, this is Green
the
Lantern, the
ship-
animated series.
his prison becomes his ship and he just flies wherever the fuck he wants.
Okay.
Like, he just turns his prison into a ship. He makes a friend, and the first friend he makes is a cat that tries to steal something. Oh no, the first friend he makes is a little green monster called Mooncake.
Okay.
And it's the most powerful being in the universe, and it's just a little cute little green thing. And then there's a bunch of bounty hunters that try to take it away, and one of them is a cat named Avocado.
Yeah.
And he's got a son, and that's a whole storyline as well. It's actually really, really good. I would recommend it. I'm not going to say too much else, because I don't want to go on.
Okay.
But I would definitely recommend watching Final Space. I think there's like 12 episodes.
Cool.
It's decent. Really, really decent. I'll save that one for later. Me and Keena played Ultra Space Battle Brawl.
Oh, yeah, it's really good.
It's a Switch game. It's really cool. If you've ever heard of Lethal League, it's kind of like that, except you don't hit each other. It's like tennis crossed with Lethal League, I guess.
Yeah, it's like...
Oh, I guess maybe more like soccer crossed with Lethal League.
Yeah, well, soccer, it's basically tennis, but, do you remember DX Ball, Kyron?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that. You gotta, like, knock away your opponent's, like, blocks, and then before you can take their health down.
Okay.
Pong. It's like,
Sorry, I was
just
getting a drink of water.
it's like Pong 3.
Yeah, it's kind of like Pong 3. But it's like, there's a lot of crude humor in it as well sometimes, like with just what the characters say after you win. I also, it's a 4-player game as well, and you can play online. So
I
you can
can't
play,
imagine that 4-player.
It's intense. I've not played 4-player yet. I've played 1 versus 2 and a computer. So I've played against recent Aldrichs with a computer on my side, and they still won because the computers are shit.
Yeah. I can't imagine how a computer can make up the slack of it.
I got close, but it's just hard.
Christ.
What else? I finished Breath of the Wild. So did Keena.
Yeah.
Most of the ones that I'm gonna say are just double offs of what me and you did together.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild. That's a game.
Yeah, it
It's
was
a
intense.
fucking long game.
I
I
feel
didn't realize I put like 100+ hours into it.
Yeah, you don't. You don't realize how much fucking time you put into that game.
I think-
feel like definitely a conversation for like maybe a games lab or something.
I do want to do a spoiler cast
Yeah.
with it on like all of it. Do you want to play Breath of the Wild, Kyron?
I do, yes.
Yeah, that'll be a good game to do a spoiler cast
Yeah.
for. We're just like, yep, yeah. You did all 120 shrines.
I did.
I did all 120 shrines.
I tried the amiibos.
Yeah.
It was decent. Would have been
Yeah.
a lot more handy at the start.
I also did all the side quests.
Yeah.
I did all the main quests.
I haven't done any of that.
Um,
I just did what I felt
shrine
like I
quest.
wanted to do.
yeah. I wanted to do the side quests. They're fun. What else was there? I got the Hylian shield.
So you're pretty much almost 100% of the game.
No.
No? What else have you got left to do?
There's so much like to count as 100% on the map. Like when you beat the game, it gives you like a little counter for 100%. To get 100% on that, you have to find all the Korok seeds.
Oh yeah, fuck that.
You know, fuck that. There's like 900 Korok seeds.
Yeah,
in the
and
game.
the prize to get them all is just dumb.
Yeah.
And like the fact that it just boosts your inventory is so useless because
Yeah, you
like
don't.
you only need to level up your weapon stash maybe like 5 times each, and then
Yeah.
you're really good for the rest of the game.
Yeah. What else is there? There's. I got the tunic. Oh, I found all the fairies,
Yeah.
including the horse
I
god.
didn't find the horse god. I didn't go looking for him.
I had a wiki up so I could just.
Okay. Where is the horse god?
Horse god is. It's near Kakariko Village, I want to say. Around
So it's
that
a Ponya,
area.
right?
Sorry?
So it's a Ponya, right?
No, it's a fairy that can resurrect your horses.
It would be awesome if they put it in Lon Lon Ranch,
Yeah.
like the old Lon Lon Ranch.
Now, Ponya you can only get through Amiibo, which sucks.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was
I
just
got Zelda's
kind of
horse.
being like,
I actually just
Joking.
stumbled across that.
I got Ganon's horse.
I didn't get Ganon's horse.
Ganon's horse is fucking huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't have a stamina bar, but he's
is it
like,
fast?
He's fast. Like he's good speed when he's like, but the thing is you can't like boost, so he's always at like a fast canter.
Okay.
You can't gallop with him. Yeah. What
But he's
else?
got a really high health bar, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's the strongest horse in the game.
Which is kind of pointless. Because,
Yeah, I didn't even know horses could die until I'm
Yeah.
like, until I was like reading the horse gods thing. So yeah, I maxed out the tunic, I maxed out, and then I just went up and fucking destroyed Ganon.
that was a fun boss fight.
Fun, a little bit easy, but I also
Yeah.
like over prepared for that.
Yeah, well, I over prepared for everything in that game.
Yeah.
Because I always felt like it was going to be so hard, and then I did it, and I was like, oh, that was easy.
Yeah.
And then the Ganon fight I found challenging only because I didn't even know I could parry
Yeah.
until that fight.
Yeah.
So that was a fucking lesson.
Yeah.
What else have I done?
Breath of the Wild, definitely recommend it.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild was really good. It's Skyrim 7. I started playing Kingdom Hearts.
How is that? How are you enjoying it?
Yeah?
I haven't played past the Tarzan part yet.
Mhm.
So I finished Tarzan. I'm back in Travis Town. That's as far as I got. I haven't finished anything else from there.
Are you enjoying it?
I am enjoying it. Finding the time to play it is another story.
Yeah.
But when I do get the time and I'm like, all right, house is clean, can sit down, no one else is using the TV, and I put it on, I will play it for the whole time, like
Yeah.
all night, because I find it really good. Sometimes the platforming would piss me off and I would get bored with it. No.
You're pretty much good for platforming for a while until Halloween Town,
I am.
and then it
I'm
kind
really
of,
excited for Halloween Town.
Yeah.
I want that one so bad.
that's a fun one, except for the annoying platforming like towards the end of it.
The only really annoying platform part is the
It-
second boss battle. I'm not going to say what it is, but
In-
Keena will know what I'm talking
in
about.
Halloween Town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Man, those
that's the
boss
only
battles are
annoying
pretty
platform
intense
part.
Yeah. How many times did you die against Clayton?
I didn't die against Clayton.
Me?
Like,
When we-
because the area is so small, all I had to do was stand right next to him and just beat the shit out of him, and I didn't get hit.
Wow.
once.
You
I was
cheese
like,
the fuck
wow.
out of that.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a meme, like, from the original PS1, PS2 game, you couldn't skip cutscenes.
Yeah.
So if you died, you had to listen to the entire cutscene again. And, like, there's so many of them that are memed, like, and that's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the Clayton, ooh, ha, ha. Not Clayton. It's just like that. And, yeah, well done for not having to suffer that 100 times.
I'm really glad. I'm really glad I didn't have to do that.
Because, yeah, Deep Jungle's a pain in the ass. Like, between that and, like, the cheetah fucking taking your ass out.
Yeah. What I have been saying, I did say to Shannon when I saw him the other day, I find it really funny that at the start of number 1 in Kingdom Hearts, everyone's like, "Oh, this troublesome kid is getting in the way of our evil plans. He's thwarting our plans," and everybody else is like, "We need Sora because he's gonna be our savior. He's gonna help King Mickey." And Sora's just like, "Fuck off! I just want my friends.
Yeah.
Why am I here? Stop! I just want to fucking go home."
Yeah, it's legit.
Should never have built that fucking raft.
Yeah, that's the whole story. So yeah, what
Take
else?
this key off me, please. I don't want it anymore.
And I mean, at one point he does try to give the key to someone else. He's like, "Fucking take it. Don't want it."
Doesn't he try to give it to Leon?
Yeah, he tries to give it to Leon.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, I'll take it." And then it just pops back in his hand. He's like, "For fuck's sake, you are a curse." It's like the remote.
Oh, that's right. No, he, Leon says, "Give it to me," and then, I think Sora just says, "Try and take it." And he, like, does that, and it just disappears again.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that's right.
What else have I done? I have played Assassin's Creed Origins. I haven't finished it.
What are you up to?
I started it, and I've gotten through a fair... I think I'm probably 15% through the game.
How many targets have you assassinated?
2. I'm on 3rd.
Okay, you're on the 3rd, yeah.
Yeah. Is that all the targets that are on
No.
that page?
There's
more.
4, 3...
It builds up like a pyramid, dude.
Yeah, there's 4, 2, 1.
Okay. Yeah, so I would say I'm probably like 15%.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Are you enjoying it?
I am enjoying it. I'm liking the way the weapons work in the game.
Yeah, that's fine.
But I sort of got bored of it and wanted to go back to Kingdom Hearts for a while.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
Understandable.
What else? I had to look more into the new DBS movie.
Oh, yeah.
Broly looks like Broly.
But a little bit different.
He does look a little bit different. It's just going back to the whole...
He's got scars this time. He's way different.
Yeah. It's all about being lean.
Yeah, I don't know. I wish we didn't have another Broly movie.
Yeah.
But it could be good. I don't know. Because it's the Toriyama spin on it, but also Toriyama isn't the same storyteller he was 20 years ago.
No.
I don't know.
I mean, I've got such low expectations for this movie. If it's anything better than abysmal, I'll be happy.
That's the thing. This movie's going to be gorgeous. It's the plot that I'm like,
Yeah.
So I definitely want to see this.
That's what I'm talking about. I have no doubt the animation will be great.
The plot should be at least better than Resurrection F, which was just Frieza's back. Let's take him down. And that's it. That was it. That was the entire plot.
Holy shit, Master Roshi, did he just do a fucking Kamehameha?
Yeah. Whereas, yeah, Battle of Gods had an interesting plot.
Been playing Hollow Knight, but Keena will talk about that more. I've only played like 10 minutes of it. What else? I've got to play around with Google Lights.
Oh, yeah.
That was a lot of fun. So
what are Google Lights?
So basically, they are lights that replace your normal light bulbs. They connect to your Google Home, and you can use them like you would like Google Minis as speakers.
Your lights become speakers.
No, your lights become interactive with the Google Home.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you could say, I'm not going to say it because I've got a Google Mini, and I've got a Google phone, and so does Keena.
Yep.
But you can say the magic Google words, and you can say, maybe you've named them kitchen lights, or maybe you've named them my bedroom lights. It also does voice recognition as the Google Home. So if you say my bedroom, and it recognizes your voice, it will do your bedroom.
Yeah.
So
cool.
There's that. But yeah, you can also set mood lighting. So it could be like, okay, play, set mood to Antarctic, and it might be like a cool white blue theme or something.
Yeah. You can try to have red light.
Okay,
yeah.
and it's just
It's really good for
buy
role-playing games.
No, like Reese wasn't necessarily like he was controlling it from his iPad
Yeah.
or tablet rather, and yeah, he would like just make like just change the light for the mood of the story he was telling, and fuck, that was effective.
I think if he got the sounds and music as well,
Yeah.
like a soundboard app or like an easily change music playlist,
Yeah,
that would be the fucking best house to do fucking role-playing games in. And we only know that because we actually did play a role-playing game. It's a Mad Lib role-playing game. I can't remember what it's called.
I'm gonna check that now. But it's a indie game. It's based on a system that I've not used before, but there's a podcast I know called The Adventure Zone, and when they were having their like mini arcs, they were what were they doing? They were using that system. Basically the fail, mix, success.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck me. And yeah, so I knew that system immediately, and it's super fun. It's you roll a 1 to 6 is a failure, a 7 to 9 is a mixed success, and you get a success, but like a humiliating effect, like detriment to you. And then
like you say, I want to cast a fire bolt on a goblin, and it'll be like, okay, you cast a firebolt, but your pants have vanished.
Yeah,
or,
that can happen.
Yeah, but if you roll a 7, you can also, but it also backfires, and you've taken 1 point of damage.
It's up to the dungeon master.
Yeah, and depending on like if you get a 9, it's less likely to you. And then 10 is just a straight up success. It's called Skull Wizards of the Chaos Caverns.
And it's good.
That's a edgy name.
The way that you make
I
your
like
character
it.
sheet is you have a list of 1 to 13, and you get told to write down nouns, adjectives, verbs, numbers,
monster name,
verbs that end in ing.
Put it this way: we battled a bitchy Kim Kardashian amiibo.
Yeah, that was one of the monsters. Because it's all based on Mad Libs. So you write all of the shit down, and then the dungeon master mixes it all around. So I think the last 3 things you write down are the last 3 things you write down are the monsters.
Yeah.
But I think it depends on how many people are playing.
Yeah.
As to how many numbers there are, because the more people, the more caverns, the more rooms and stuff, the more monsters. But we did fight a bitchy Kim Kardashian amiibo, and that was just because I wrote down Kim Kardashian, someone wrote down bitchy, and someone wrote down amiibo. I think
I wrote down amiibo.
And Reese just mixed them all together. And
Awesome.
my character sheet was not very nice. I'm not going to say what it was.
I was a salt woman. And I was a beer priest.
Yeah.
Beer priest.
I didn't really understand most of the character sheet if it's not relevant. Like, you have a class and then a subclass, but your main class doesn't even matter. It's your subclass that matters.
What was it? I had a table of farming as my weapon.
Yeah.
Which I just cheesed all the obstacles. Like, Reese would be like, here's a thing, the chasm you have to get across. I'm like, I lay my table down. Like, oh, fuck.
That's how we got through, like, most problems. Keena's like, I put my table down. We climb across it.
What else was there? I think that was it, yeah.
How big is the table if it can cross a chasm?
Well, the chasm was never told.
Yeah, it was never specified the size.
How big it was, so we just said that we'd
and
do it.
neither was my table, so...
And if you roll successfully, then you can do it.
Yeah, that's fun.
Huh.
So we played that. We played 2 rounds of that last night. It was great. That all you've been into, Nathaniel?
Yes, I believe so.
Cool.
Yes.
It is, basically just a chaotic, streamlined D&D.
Cool.
So I guess it's my turn.
Yes, it is your turn.
So I've also played Breath of the Wild. So I did 120 shrines. So, so I don't need to go over that. I've been playing Hollow Knight. That's a really good game. It's on PC and Switch at the moment. It is a beautiful game. The sound design and soundtrack are great and amazing. I like you can just like leave the menu. You can just leave it going and just like it's peaceful. But fuck, it's hard to play.
Yeah.
It is. The bosses are so hard. Like, you die so much, and you're fucking. It's like Dark Souls level of hardness.
I fucking love it when people say that, only because I know so many people that love Dark Souls, and they hate it when people say that something's like Dark Souls. So I never, because it happens with most games now. Because if a game's hard,
It's like Dark Souls.
people are like, it's like Dark Souls, like Cuphead. People are like, it's like Dark Souls, and everyone's like, how the fuck is it like Dark Souls? Just because it's hard doesn't mean it's
I
Dark
agree
Souls.
with that. I mean, if the game's hard, it's not like Dark Souls. It's just not like every other game that holds your hand and goes, come
This
on,
game
this
is
way.
kind of like
Dark Souls.
Dead Cells, which is the 2D.
Okay, so it's
Kind of.
based. Dark Souls is a roguelike.
Yeah.
Souls-like are basically now 3D versions of that. 2D versions are now roguelikes.
Yeah.
Roguelikes are you die, you go back to your
It's
body.
called roguelikes because of Rogue Legacy, isn't it?
No, Rogue Legacy sort of revitalized it. There's like an
Okay.
old like PC game from the early 80s, I want to say,
Okay.
that was called Rogue. And every game was called... And then they're like, oh, this is a roguelike.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think, Rogue Legacy revitalized that. So that's sort of why we
This
have
is
like
a Dark Souls like.
Yeah,
It's
well,
hard.
yeah, that's where we have like Souls-likes now. Or Soulsborns.
Laying in bed. Oh, I'm so Dark Souls right now.
Jesus Christ. But
Disgusting.
but so what it is, when you die, you leave your soul behind, or phantom, or what they actually refer to it as like your grief, like your past griefs. And you just kill it in 2 hits and you can get it back. Because it does try to kill you. It's relatively weak. And then, because when you die... Okay, so, you have a health meter, which is like 5 hit points. You get hit, you take
Really?
it, lose a hit point. Yes. No, this is actually kind of important details. So, when you hit an enemy with your nail, because you're like a little bird thing, when you hit it, you get souls. Like, it is called souls. You fill a meter of souls until it's maxed out. When you lose a hit point, you can hold in A and it'll drain your souls bar to recharge your health.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and
It's
at the
a very interesting way of how a game works because the regeneration is a lot easier. However, mapping is not.
yeah,
So, to map, you have to go find parts, or like you have to go find a save point in that area, or you have to buy.
first
the
you have to buy the
sections.
map,
Yeah.
which from just a dude who's just in the area because he's an actual cartographer in the game. And then if you buy it off him, he'll give you like the outline, and then the save points are park benches. So when you like explore the area, excuse me, when you go to the save point, it'll fill it in. You have to buy a thing to actually let you know exactly where you are on the map.
Yeah.
So when you're traveling, like you can hold in L and you can like sort of see where you're going at the same time. But so you have to buy a charm to do that. And it's not like that. You have a system. You can only have like so many charms equipped at the same time. It's kind of a loadout system, and you can chop and change them at a park bench save point. But yeah, so it's a little bit weird. I don't know why they did that. If they make a Hollow Knight 2, I'd rather just a normal one. But
So I have a question. Is it Hollow Knight as like an armored person, or
Yes.
like knight as in the time of...
It's an armored
Day.
person.
Yeah,
Okay.
with a K.
Alright.
It's really good. Like one of the bosses I had to fight was actually 3 bosses. So I think they were the Mantis Lords. So the first
it's
one you
a
fight is
Final
really...
Fantasy game?
No. Mantis
I'm
Lords.
just joking about how every time in a Final Fantasy kill a boss and it comes back, and then you kill it again and it comes back.
Well, no, this isn't even forms. It's like 3 separate dudes. So the first time you fight it like the one comes down, and like I didn't have a better sword, so I had to like it took 42 hits to kill it the first time before my upgrade, and that took for fucking ever. And then I'm like, how do I kill it? I was like, you should get the upgrade. So I went and got the sword upgrade, came back, and only then took 22 hits to kill, which is still a lot. And then when that dies, its two mate comes in, and you have to take the same enemy at the same time, like two enemies of the exact same thing at the same time. So, and they're attacking you like not in unison, but like one will attack, and then like within a second, the next enemy will attack, and it's so.
Oh, so they attack in like stagnation.
In
So
like,
it's like,
yeah, they team up.
boom.
And, yeah, it's fucked. But I beat them, and I didn't get anything for it except for a new area.
Lovely.
Yeah, but basically, like, beating a boss is kind of like a rhythm game. In terms of, like, oh, jump down. Like, you have to look for their tells. Like, oh, they're about to do this. You jump in, jump out. Nathaniel saw me take down, like, a magic teleporter. It fucking was hard. But then as soon as Nathaniel showed up, I was just, like, blazing through it. And he was a Final Fantasy villain in terms of, like, oh, you beat him. He breaks the floor. You take his soul, and he's back. Like, fuck you. Yeah, because, when you die, you're nowhere near where the boss is. So you have to go through all the area again. You may have made shortcuts, because that's how Metroidvanias work. But, other than that, it's good. I like playing it with my PS4 controller. That's something I also figured out how to do. So what I've been doing is there's a brand called 8BitDo. They have an item called the Retro Receiver, which is just like a USB. And then you plug it into your dock, and then you sync it up. Sometimes it takes a bit of trial and error. I don't know why. It should just work. We tried to do it on Nathaniel's, and we're like, why won't it work? It's just weird, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And what happened? Yeah, and you just play Switch games with your PS4 controller. It's fucking awesome.
It is awesome, because sometimes, especially with Breath of the Wild, I found holding that Switch controller, especially while it's in
The joy grip.
My pinkies start to feel like they're getting overlapped by my other fingers, because
Yeah.
it's not big enough for big man hands.
Yeah. It does look like it's a Japanese design thing for Japanese people. But that's why I do like that you can just pull them apart. And but then, like, it sort of
It's
feels
still
weird.
the same thing sometimes, because it's still... Yeah. I remember I got so many cramps playing Breath of the Wild just because my hands were so tight.
Yeah. I'm so glad I got the PlayStation controller for that. Platformers are good with the PS4 controller. And that's the other thing, it is like a lot of platforming as well. Like, not only is it like fighting everything, he's like, oh, you got to jump up and like do wall bounces and do dashing, and that's also hard as well. And you still got to manage.
But that sounds good though. It sounds like the Switch is bringing back the style of gaming that has been kind of lost, which is the platformer that's not just solely a platform, it's also a boss thing and stuff like that. It seems like Switch is really kind of bringing that kind of style back.
It's interesting because
I think what's happening is the Switch is definitely bringing back the older style. But I mean, like, it's not really the Switch that's doing it. It's the indie gamers. But the Switch is allowing them to be on their console, which is fantastic. The Switch is doing it in a really interesting way. Whereas it kind of feels like the PS4 and especially the Xbox One are sort of like trying to phase that sort of thing out a little bit, because they're after more quality from bigger companies.
Yeah.
They want exclusives, and Xbox ain't getting any.
Yeah, like indie or internal.
Yeah.
Because Hollow Knight was a Steam game. Dead Cells came out recently, which was also a different kind of Metroidvania. It is way more roguelike because you get weapons. It randomizes your weapons every time you start. I do want to play that game. I want to thank Nathaniel for turning me onto it. I played it on his PC for a bit. I'm like, this game's great. I just suck with mouse and keyboard.
Was that Dead Cells?
Yeah. And it is also, it's a very intricate like battle game. So some people say like, oh, you can tell it's designed by people like who kind of like fighting games because it is very like down to the frame. Like it's kind of like people also compared it to 2013 DMC. So that's good because that game's fucking great in terms of its combat. But yeah, I think that's all. Oh, and I've been playing Link to the Past on my NES Classic or Super Nintendo Classic. Fucking, they're the reason that game's like one of the best games of all time. It's fun to play.
Yeah.
I kept fucking up my save files in terms of like, oh, I do this because you can make suspend points by pressing the reset button, and then it would just like, oh. I just would fuck up, and I had to like do the same dungeon 3 times because I would just fuck it up. But yeah, I just I just got my first crystal in the Dark World, which means I only got 6 more to go.
In the Thor: The Dark World?
Yes.
Awesome.
Thor: The Dark Thor.
Bad movie.
It is.
It's got Christopher Eccleston in it.
He's the bad part, unfortunately. Not because he's bad, but because what they gave him was shit.
It's true.
Alrighty, boys. What do you think of Emulation?
I think it's good,
I think Emulation...
but with conditions.
Yeah.
I think.
Well
that
done, Kyron.
only-
Thanks for today. If you like the show...
Oh, I was going to expand upon my conditions, but I guess I'll just sign off now.
No, you can only have one sentence opinions. No, go for it, mate.
I think emulators are okay when the company stops selling that console. Like,
Okay,
you
yeah.
can't walk into a store anymore and buy a PlayStation 1.
No.
So,
Okay.
I don't see what the harm in it is if the stores don't stock the games or the consoles. It's not harming anyone because you're just, if you do want to get a hold of the game, you have to buy it from someone. So
clarify,
companies aren't being affected,
Mm.
and you get to play the games that you liked or
To clarify,
grew up with. That
emulation isn't illegal. Like, to emulate a Game Boy Advance is not illegal. It's the downloading of the ROMs of the games is illegal. It's sharing someone else's IP for free. That's the illegal part. But yeah, even on your point, it's Nintendo.
But what's
like,
the
this all
difference
started-
between handing someone a game?
Yeah.
You get no money for it, they get no money for it.
Mm.
Like there was no exchange. You just handed them an old game
Yeah.
that the companies and suppliers no longer even stock. Like, walk into an EB game and see if you can find a Sega Genesis or any Sega Genesis games.
Well,
No
that's-
companies are being harmed by it.
That's the interesting thing at the moment, Kyron,
It's
is
just
because we have
Peer sharing.
we have all these classics now because the Sega Genesis Classic does exist. We have the SNES Classics, but while they're only a select, well, the Genesis has like 120 games, whereas the Super Nintendo only has 21, and the NES has 30. But even to your point, like, there's old NES games like, what's that game Ryan Scott's always after? Stadium.
Something.
Yeah, basically
Olympics.
something like that. There's anyway games like that, like even like Madden games. From there, they don't get relicensed because 1, they're old. 2, who the fuck actually owns the rights to that? 3, where is the source code? 4, like there's just a bunch of reasons why, especially like NES and Super Nintendo games don't get. Like, you need an emulator to play them, because you can't rebuy them. Nintendo's not reselling. I can't think of an example off the top of my head.
And that's my point. Like, I can't walk into a store, buy a PlayStation 2, buy Simpsons Hit and Run, and come home and play it.
That would support the IP holders in any way.
Yeah.
Because you can go to cash
Like,
converters and do
I could
that, but
Like, I could probably walk into like some sort of like pawn shop, like fucking cash converter or something like that. Walk in, hopefully maybe find a PS2 that they have there, and then be like, okay, time to go search around a bunch of like maybe collectors stores stuff like that to try and find Simpsons Hit and Run, or I could have, and either way, none of this goes to the original IP creators.
Yeah.
Or I could just go online, get everything for free.
Yeah.
And either way, no money went to the original IP creators.
On anything.
It's interesting.
It's not on Steam either.
I'm not sure if it's something. I'm pretty sure it's a PS2 classic on a PS3. Yeah.
Is it?
I think. I'm just gonna actually check that.
Because if it is, I will quite happily, because I've been wanting to play Simpsons Hit and Run again,
Yeah.
but my computer's,
Managed to
I'm scared of it killing itself if I download
Yeah,
anything.
everyone's able to obtain it. Yeah. Oh, come on. There's like, it's interesting because like, I was trying to do some emulation. Like, I've got the Visual Boy Advance, which is probably, in my experience, the best emulator.
It's the best emulator. I think the Visual Boy Advance. I think it did wonders for gaming, purely because I don't think a lot of games and a lot of game types would have had as much recognition without it. Because back then, those shitty little games were worth quite a lot of money for just some shit software, some shit hardware. Like, the Game Boy itself was fairly sound, but it definitely had its kinks.
I mean, the Game Boy Advanced was good.
Well, even like...
Oh, hold on. Sorry. If you guys hear dog noises, it's just the dogs running around. They just came inside.
Okay, confirm Simpsons Hit and Run isn't on the PlayStation Store in any capacity. Sorry.
Yeah.
I thought I saw that. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's in America. I don't know. I don't know why.
Maybe.
But
like,
with the Game Boy, because you've got battery life to sort out, and like, while the Game Boy has pretty good battery life, it's still money you need to fork out. There's still, what else is there? Like the
original Game Boy, there's no backlight, so you need to angle it the correct way underneath a lamp or something like that to see it. And
but the emulator itself, like my story is, I was trying to download like the Adventures. Legend of Zelda and Zelda 2, because there were Game Boy ports, Game Boy Advance ports. I'm like, cool, this would be great because I really want to play Zelda 2 with just the save system of the GBA, or the Visual Boy Advance. And I'm downloading them, and it's just not working for whatever reason. I'm like, what the fuck? So I do some Googling, and there's this weird hitch where, like, the Visual Boy Advance is perfectly emulating the Game Boy Advance, but the actual ROMs for the NES Classics, which was what they were called, like, there was a whole run of games, so it was like Castlevania and shit like that, Mega Man. For whatever reason, it just wasn't compatible with the software, but you could put it into a Game Boy Advance and it would just work because of like one different like hardware spec, and like you can get like different Game Boy Advance emulators that can do that, but they're so weird and you have to like run scripts and shit like that. I'm like, I don't know what any of this shit. I don't want a virus, so I'm just not gonna play Zelda 2, which sucks.
Yeah. I mean, I've dabbled in PS2 emulation.
Yeah.
With my computer, and it's a lot of work to do it. So I think that's like kind of also like a thing about like emulator ethics. There's already a barrier, like an entry barrier. If you're not hardcore about really wanting this thing, you're not going to go through the effort to do it.
Yeah.
So so there is already like, if you're like, I will just download the emulator, hooray, it works.
Yeah.
Time to download ROMs, okay, it works. That it would be far more common.
Yeah, and that's what kind of sucks. Is just like this sort of like the argument for emulation is game preservation, and a lot of games these days, well, a lot of games period, are accessible. Like how many online games, like they need an always online connection. Like, you can't just play them. Like, if you were to... When they shut down, like, I can't think of a game that's done this. But say, like, one day, Fortnite eventually just stops playing. Like, how the fuck is anyone going to play Fortnite again?
Yeah.
Like, the only way you can relive that is by watching YouTube. Whereas we can go back and watch a lot... Like, we can watch pretty much from the 40s onwards of every movie that's ever happened. To some capacity.
Yeah.
Movies
Yeah.
have got that, but also movies has been around a lot longer because from the 1890s through to the 40s, they were fucking losing negatives all over the place because they weren't preserving it. It's the same with games because a lot of games are like held in rights and like who the fuck owns this license? The source code is like in
Yeah, like
someone's
this
garage.
game company went under. How do we sell this now? Like,
Yeah.
we don't give who do we give the money to? Do we keep the money? Is
Like that's the thing. Like say
what's
that
going
THQ died forever. Like actually, like THQ Nordic didn't decide to become a thing. Like where would we be
Yeah.
playing like the Darksiders remasters? Like someone did buy them, but it does get icky. But someone's like, no, we're gonna sort the legal shit out, and actually like here's Darksiders. Here's all the bunch of other THQ games.
yeah,
Stuff like that. I can't think of like Midway was another one where they had a whole bunch of stuff. I think they were like Mortal Kombat would belong to Midway, and then Warner Brothers is like, we'll take that, thank you Midway. But yeah, if no one bought that, Midway like Mortal Kombat would have been lost, and then we kind of would have gotten Injustice, or Injustice as we know it.
yeah, we would have got some weird 3D story game instead of a
2D story game.
It's-
Oh, you mean like that? Like
Is
an
it
action
2D?
adventure? Yeah.
yeah.
It's just game preservation is just another weird thing, and it's like me, the historian. I love that shit. Like, while I may not want to play, like, Arena Stadium or whatever it is, I want the option to. Like, I have the option to watch Citizen Kane or the Superman theatrical shorts. Like, I have that option.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I want to. I've now seen Citizen Kane 2.5 times. I'm like, I don't want to watch that again. But it sucks that we're a young medium, and the '80s were the '80s, and we didn't give a fuck about anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's why I kind of appreciate like Xbox is doing a good thing with the backwards compatibility. Not every game's backwards compatible, but they're doing a good effort to make as many as possible.
Yeah, well, like the ones that aren't backwards compatible, like they're still on their list to be made backwards compatible.
Yeah.
And like they've even got shit from like Xbox, like original Xbox days,
Yeah.
on like Game Pass and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
I do like what Xbox is doing, but I think that's also not so much as we need to preserve the history of games. I think it's just please someone buy the console.
I think it is also like it is that, but it is also them like garnering goodwill, so that when the next Xbox comes out, like we have this long catalog dating back to the original Xbox, all now on Xbox 2. Buy the Xbox 2 and you can have already this big library plus these new games coming out. Buy the Xbox 2, please. It'll be something
I
like
have
that.
like a little funny theory that maybe the next Xbox that comes out will be called the 720, just as a troll.
I don't think
Because
so.
everyone thought that the Xbox. I don't think they would, but it would be funny if they did that.
It would be
That
funny,
would
but
garner a lot of goodwill with me.
720 never made too much sense because 720 you're just literally spinning your wheels. Like that's what was so weird. Like 360 means a revolution. 720 is a revolution again. But and then like if when you're just going round and round and round, that doesn't make too much sense.
Yeah.
Well, 720 also kind of implies that. So they did
You
a
can only do
360.
720p. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
The reason it's called 360 as well is because if they put out Xbox 2, people would automatically. They felt that people would automatically know that the PS3 is better.
Yeah, just by
3 is
numericals.
better than 2, so they're like Xbox 360. We're the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. Do you have any other opinions, Nathaniel?
On emulation.
Yeah. Or game preservation, or like what companies could do, should do.
Well, I think my childhood definitely wouldn't be the same without emulation.
Yeah.
I played the fuck out of Pokemon games on my PC.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have had it any other way. Because fucking playing those games without hitting spacebar to go faster that's fucking painful.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So playing any of those old Pokemon games, especially Fire Red and Leaf Green, when you have to catch Mewtwo without having the save F1 function
Yeah.
when you throw the Pokeball, most painful thing
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, obviously that's how they intend to play the game. They wanted people to play the game, but I just found it more fun to play it like that. I mean, like, it's not an online game, but I don't know. I feel like Emulation has done the world of good when it comes to the smaller genres and branching out into new genres as today is now. Because I feel like there was a long time there where the only genre, especially even now, it's still happening. The Switch itself is only just starting to bring it back. PlayStation a little bit, PC a little bit, but that's only with indie games. But most games that come out nowadays that are just super popular are just fucking battle royales or online multiplayer, fucking firefights and shit like that, and I'm just so fucking sick of it. I love games that have a story.
Yeah.
And that's why I think Emulations, like Kyron said, if it's not hurting their profits, I think it should be allowed. I don't think it's gonna hurt if they do decide to remake a console later on, because I'm still interested in buying fucking the classic.
Yeah.
There are emulations out for that, but I'm still interested in buying the classic because it's a classic.
The reason I got the Super Nintendo Classic is because I downloaded the Super Nintendo emulator, and it just wasn't. It was just too finicky, and it just wasn't working the way I wanted it to. Basically, I just wanted Visual Boy Advance NES. But it was just too finicky. I'm like, okay, I want to play with the controller, and it just wasn't letting me. And my PC is also shit as well. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna just buy this thing. It's got pretty much all the Super Nintendo games I ever want to play, and I just go.
Yeah.
And it's just you literally plug in and you just go. It's really, really good. Yeah, I think as long as there are options to first method should always be, can I access this game legally? Is it on PS3 or the PS2 or one classic?
Yeah.
Has it been remade? Is it on Steam? Just figure out which way you can go about it. Has Nintendo, that was the good thing about the Wii and even the Wii U, Virtual Console. They had all that shit. Wii U had 64 and Virtual Console. You could play Ocarina and Majora's Mask on Wii U. People are expecting GameCube games on the Switch if we ever actually get a fucking Virtual Console. But it seems their online service is going to be hey, subscribe and you get 10 or 20 free games a month out of it as well. You can play Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers 2, Super Mario Brothers 3, The Legend of Zelda. But it seems like it's like Netflix in terms of they'll cycle in and out. So you don't get to keep them, which sucks.
Because what if you're halfway through that game and then you can...
Yeah.
That would suck.
It's Zelda, any of them aren't easy games. And if you want to do that with Sorry?
I think that emulations, all the time, every emulator I've seen, I don't see what's illegal about it. If they're obviously it's the
if you've
sharing
got a PS4
things for free
and you're emulating Red Dead Redemption 2 when it comes out, that's the
okay. Yeah, so I see the harm in that, but mainly what I'm when I think of an emulator, I think of a Nintendo 64 or a PS2 or a PlayStation 1 or
basically
an
PS2
Xbox.
backwards.
I think of things that you can't already have.
Yeah.
That aren't already on Steam or in a shop. Clearly what you're doing there is illegal, don't do that. But I'm thinking the Visual Boy Advanced and stuff like that. It's not like they're even abusing copyright because they are not being sold anymore, so there's no profits being stolen. There's no pirating happening.
That's the other thing. Like with Pokemon,
and they always credit the actual people. Like even in the thing itself, like you turn on any emulator, play a game, and it always gives you what's on the disc already, which is who created it, where it came from, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Like that, it still like credits the original developers and publishers and shit like that. Because especially now in the like wild west of the iPhone games, like people are straight up like stealing games and like selling them as their own. Like, there's so many little
I've
Fortnite
seen
clones,
shit like that.
Not clones as in like, oh, we're Fort Day or like stuff like that. It's like, no, someone like while the game was in beta, people stole the APK for Fortnite and just started selling it on the store, and it was broken. It didn't fucking work, but they were getting money from people. Yeah, and
like I've seen, like just ads on Instagram. Like you're scrolling through, and it was literally God of War, frame for frame, and then it was like play something Battle King 4 or something like that.
Well, yeah.
And like they get like, it's very common with Dragon Ball. I've seen they get like fighters, like the straight up like opening scene from Fighters, put that on an ad and go download Dragon Ball something, or like Dragon Orb X or something like that, like download it today. And it's like trying to fob off this as like real gameplay for the app.
Yeah.
And like I think that's more morally questionable than fucking.
That's not questionable. That's
emulators.
Straight up like, that's straight up stealing. Like that's straight up stealing someone's content. That's plagiarism.
And I also, isn't false advertisement a crime?
Yes, it is. But because the Google Store and the App Store are so like just unyieldy and fucking like 1,000 things get approved a day, like it is so hard to actually catch any of that shit.
But they'll demonetize every video on YouTube before even actually watching it.
Yeah, that's a different
that's because the business loses money, not because of the law.
Yeah, that's a different conversation altogether.
One we've already had.
Yeah, it's
no, but like what I'm saying is like they can monitor the thousands, possibly millions of videos being uploaded a day.
Okay, with that,
but they can't monitor the barrier of entry for creating an app is a lot worse than
lower
filming on your phone and uploading it.
Yeah.
If you've got an internet connection and a phone, you can upload to YouTube.
Yeah.
But
it's
they can't monitor the possible maybe like 5,000 apps that go through.
Yeah. That's ridiculous. I think we are moving.
And I'm only bringing that up because Google is the same company who owns YouTube.
But YouTube is sort of like self-governing sort of thing. They make their own stupid mistakes, and like only a couple of decisions actually come down from Google. But
but Google provides them with the
money,
the software and hardware and everything like that to actually enforce their rules.
Yeah. I think companies nowadays are actually trying to preserve as much as possible. I think we're getting better. And, like, especially now that consoles are all basically the same machine, just dressed up differently. Like, they can all be just chopped and changed and moved really easy. And if they keep continuing like this, we'll have backwards compatibility. Like the iPhone has. Like, you can... I don't know.
You can get the latest iPhone and still play Flappy Bird on it. Like,
well, one Flappy Bird's
that was
down.
Yeah, you can't play Flappy Bird anymore.
Well,
but you can download Angry Birds. Like you can use Angry
Flappy
Birds.
Bird clone that came out when Flappy Bird was out to try and grab the same money.
Yeah, Angry Birds. You can still go back and download Angry Birds. But even
Yeah,
then,
you
like
can still
apps
go
like,
back and download the original Angry Birds on the latest model phone. Like,
yeah,
there's no difference.
yeah. Sometimes they're not supported properly. Like if you were to try to get Angry Birds on iPhone X, that may not work properly because of the weird notch that it has now. But yes, you can basically like phones are way more backwards compatible than consoles are, and I think consoles will get back to that point. Hopefully,
I mean, to be fair, a phone app is a lot less complicated than a console.
well, not really. Like they're kind of the same things in terms of like they're their own ecosystem.
Okay, with an app, you're using software and things that already exist on that thing.
Yeah,
Whereas developing a new generation is, okay, we have to develop things for a new thing that runs completely separate to the old thing.
yeah.
Because this is better.
Now that consoles are more PC focused, like Xbox is perfect. They're kind of the same machine, except they're just better. They're the same graphics cards, but later in the life cycle. They're the same, like that kind of stuff. And that's why they are able to relatively easy do backwards compatibility back to the original Xbox.
Yeah.
And that'll be what they're probably going to do going forward. And that's why PCs can you can run System Shock 2. You can run what's fucking Organ Trail. That's easy. Like that's what Xbox has been like pretty good about. Whereas PlayStation, like, oh, we're this now, we're the Emotion Engine, now we're the cell processor, and now we're a PC. Like that doesn't compute at all. But I think PlayStation 5 will be we're a PC again, just better graphics card and more RAM.
I mean, hopefully.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah, unless they're like, yeah, it's a cell processor 2, and every fucking developer cries.
Yeah, to be honest. No, I've never had any issues with emulators. I mean, like, I don't think it really should be that much of a big deal because I haven't heard of like a super successful emulator since Nintendo 64 and GBA.
There was like a couple before that, like the Nesticle for the NES. There was like the one
before it, but not
Yeah.
after. Like, I've heard of so many like people are like, oh, look at this PSP emulator, and I'm like, wow, that does not work.
The PSP was a perfect emulator. People were putting emulators that could run like NES games and shit on the they cracked that PSP wide open to just run any fucking game on it.
Yeah.
PSP was apparently beautiful like that. I never bothered with that. I'm like, I like my PSP the way it is.
Yeah.
Maybe I will look into it.
I might look into it too.
But yeah, I think that's it. I think that's all we got to say. Talking a little bit in circles now. Nintendo, please stop suing.
I mean... Sorry, continue.
I was going to say, Nintendo, please stop suing everyone. That's why this is all brought up, because Nintendo's like, we sue you, please take down our ROMs. And then a completely different site, Emu Paradise, is like, fuck, alright, we're closed and dead. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, which... I used Emu, whatever the fuck it was called. I figured it at this point.
Paradise.
I used that for my PS2, emulator when I had it. And it was streamlined and good. I searched a bunch of websites, found that one, and it was like, okay, what category do you want? Okay. We list it from most popular and best with peer reviews.
Yeah.
For this emulator. And how easy it is to run and do all sorts of stuff. And like that. So you just click the top one, and if that doesn't work for your specific computer, you can put in a filter of being like, okay, this is my computer, this is my OS that I'm running on, and it's like, okay, well, this one might be the best for you. I liked Emu Paradise,
it was so good, but now
I'm a little upset that they weren't in any trouble and they were like, fuck, run.
Because they don't have any lawyers and they don't want Nintendo coming after their ass.
Yeah, I mean, I do get that, and they're specifically non-profit.
They run ads on their site.
They don't. Yeah, I mean, they get AdSense, but they don't charge you for.
Yeah, they don't charge for the download. Yeah.
Like that's the part where like if emulators were like, okay, buy the emulator,
Yeah, then no.
buy the ROMs,
That's straight up
that's when
piracy.
I would be like, okay, this is fucking gross, don't do that. But it's all free for things that you can't give to the original creators anyway, so no harm, no foul.
Yeah. Yeah. Alrighty. I think that's it, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If,
I think we covered that pretty well.
Yeah. If you like emulators, just look for an emulator. Well, no, I don't know what you can do now.
Look
because
for an emulator, but you won't find one now.
I don't even know what other sites there are. Just go to a mate. Maybe they'll have it on USB or something.
I'm sure if you ask someone on Reddit, they'll have something.
If you support us at the $20 tier on Patreon, you can have access to the Google Drive, and we can have all the. Oh no, that's piracy. If we made people pay for it, so I could give them the emulator, that's piracy. That's illegal. Cancel that.
Amalgam should cancelled.
Well, are we responsible for what's on our drive? If we just give them access to the drive,
Yeah, but
then...
it's behind a paywall. That's just
Yeah, but we're not telling them what it's just got access
We're not
to
telling-
the drive. We're not telling them what.
We're not telling them to download anything. We're just saying, yeah, you can look at our drive, and if they take anything from it, not within our hands.
No, that's straight up piracy.
Yeah, no, I know.
If you enjoyed this episode, please give us a like and subscribe. That'd be great. Hit the notification bell if you want to see when we upload, which hasn't been much lately, which we apologize for. Scheduling conflicts and people dying will do that to you. I need a sneeze, and it's not happening. If you like this show, check out the Amalgam Games Lab. We haven't done one of those in ages, so we got a fuck ton to talk about. Hopefully Shannon has a week off and he's well. We can just do 2 hours podcast.
He says he doesn't work next weekend, so hopefully he's better.
Hopefully he's better. Get well soon, Shannon. Support us on Patreon at patreon.com/Amalgam Show. You can listen to Amalgam Archaeology, where Shannon and I talk about Final Fantasy 1 through 3 in great detail. That can be either really boring or really exciting if you like.
One could even say excruciating detail.
Oh, I wouldn't say excruciating. We're not like, oh, here's a documentary on it. Back when Hironobu Sakaguchi, blah, 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 blah. We did a little bit of that.
No, but one could say that. I mean, anyone can say anything.
You can literally say, you can like just say, oh, I like Pepsi. Like, not going to make a difference.
I never said it did. I said one could say that.
If you have any questions for the show, please comment below or email us at amalgamshot@gmail.com. And until next time, catch you later.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.